finish rest of the part. So for exercise for tomorrow is you have to design a carry look ahead adder, which is you have to design it two ways. One, you have to design a 4-bit carry look ahead adder. The other is using that 4-bit CLA. You have to design a 32-bit adder. Okay. Now the delays you have to take the same way we have taken there. That means your 2-input gate would have a unit delay. That essentially means that 3-input or 4-input AND OR gate will have a 2 units of delay. And if the number of gates are increasing, number of inputs are increasing, generically we can say that n input delay, n input AND OR gate would have a log n delay, ceiling of log n delay. So that means if number of inputs are 5, the delay would be 3. 5, 6, 7, the delay would be 3. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, delay would be 3. And if it is more than 8, from 9 to 16 inputs, the delay would be 5. So on and so forth. So we have to consider those delays, and what you have to come out is you have to analyze the delays like we have analyzed for ripple carry, and we have to see whether this the delay of CLA is it less than my ripple carry or not. Okay, to give you a very short glimpse of carry look ahead adder. So typically, you know that sum is represented by AI, XOR BI, XOR CI. The bottleneck is that CI would be generated only after previous carry has been generated. So in carry look ahead, we try to generate all the carries before the time. So we use generate and propagate signals. For generate, we use GI equal to AI and VI, and propagate we use OR of these two. So these generate and propagate would be available as soon as AI and VI are available. And then we can use these carry equations. So C1 would be written like this, C2, C3, C4. So these equations we can write and can implement it in our Verilog, and then we can see what is the impact on the delay. Okay, so let us see whether the delay is less or whether it is more or whether it is same as ripple carry. So with this, yeah, I'm done for the for today's session. Let's take up few questions. We have at least some 10 minutes with us. If you have questions, then I can respond to those questions. Yeah, recorded video would be shared by Academy. They will try to make sure today that it would be uploaded onto YouTube or some shared media so that you need not to log in onto Microsoft. Yes, Aniruddha ji. Tell me what is your question.
The delays that you have simulated in your Verilog file, in actual hardware, where does that arise from? Like, imagine if you're making a proper digital circuit in an ASIC or an FPGA, where does the delay arise from?
Delay arise from the 2 or 3 different cases. One is, we call it propagation delay. The other is your gate delay. So you know how these gates are realized. Either they are using BJT transistors or using CMOS transistors, or using some other ECL logic families, etc. Okay, so whenever you give any input, that input in a very layman term, you can say that whatever input you will give, your circuit will take some time to respond to those inputs.
Okay.
Okay, so we can call it inertial delay. There is an inertia in everybody.
Okay.
Correct. So why this inertia is coming? In case of CMOS, there is a capacitance that gets charged and discharged. So whenever your output is changing from 0 to 1, it gets charged, and whenever output changes from 1 to 0, it gets discharged.
Yeah.
So understand that capacitor is a very slow device. It takes time to charge. It takes time to discharge also.
Okay.
And you know that equations are exponential for that. So
Yeah.
in case of CMOS, because of charging and discharging, it takes time. So this is what we call inertial delay, or essentially the delay because of latency in the circuit. The other delay is called propagation delay. That happens because of wires. So
Okay.
although we say that current or voltage travels at the speed of light, but you know your circuit is very small.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can say that it shouldn't take any time, correct? But
Yeah.
now you also have to understand that you are working at gigahertz,
Okay.
correct? So it is very, very fast. It will take time. The other thing, what happens in this in your wires is they also works like a very weak capacitor. You know, in CMOS, like you'll have a metal wires, and between the metal wires there would be an oxide layer which is insulated, so they eventually work like a capacitor. So because
Yeah.
wires also will have some sort of capacitance, some sort of resistance, they also introduce some delay. So that is propagation delay.
Okay.
And one more thing which also should be considered here and which should be important, which is very, very important, that the delays which we are writing here in Verilog as #1, #2, #3 has nothing to do with the real delays of your circuit.
Okay.
So we are just modeling artifacts, which means that when you will actually synthesize the circuit, the actual delay would be different. But these are just for the modeling information. Why this modeling information is important? So sometimes you can back annotate, you can characterize your circuit, get that information and put it here, so that before realizing the circuit, you will get to know what would be the delay.
Okay. One more thing that I wanted to ask was, how does like the clock frequency relate to the delays that we get from our circuit, or is that even any matter, or is it independent from that? So imagine we have a microprocessor or a microcontroller running at 16 megahertz. So is that one unit of delay would be 1 by 16 into 10 power 6 or something like that?
You have to repeat the question.
No, in a normal microprocessor, there is a clock signal, right? Does that relate to the delay that we observe?
It is reverse. Actually, it is reverse.
Okay.
We decide the clock based on the delays.
Okay.
So we will analyze the circuit. We will say that this is the worst case delay, and based on that, we will decide this should be the clock frequency.
Okay, so we'll get a worst case.
It was the other way also sometime, that mostly in industry, like there's a your top level manager is saying that my design has to work on 1 gigahertz. So this is a marketing requirement. So because it has to work on 1 gigahertz, I will design my circuit in such a way that it works on 1 gigahertz, although it can take more number of cycles. So it's more like it is more like a marketing gimmick, that although your microprocessor or your system can say that it is working at 5 gigahertz, but total amount of time it can take could be even more than what it was taking when it was running at 2.5 gigahertz.
Okay, so with all the capacitances and everything, the full adder should finish its computation within that one single clock cycle or something like that.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Neeraj, can I just say something here?
Please, sir.
Yeah, I just want to indicate it is like your questions are well taken by Dr. Neeraj. Only just think like the perspective is different here. In the field, we are a user of those DC circuits and chips. What Dr. Neeraj is taking is as a designer. So if you are looking at a clock as a user, your perspective is okay. But if you are a designer, then we are decider of the clock actually. I hope you understand that. Like if you are a designer of a circuit, you have to design what clock you want to assign and what you want to do. So all that aspect is reverse now. I'm not user of the circuit only. I'm designer here. So whatever I design will work in the field. So I will say this is my clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to add. Thank you, Neeraj.
Yeah. That's all my questions are.
Okay, so if there is no more questions, then I think we're done. Either we are going very fast because there is no question today. Wow, it is. Vinith sir, are we going very fast?
No, I think this is good. Like we have actually a broad spectrum.
Broad spectrum.
We have few industry persons also joining in our this program.
Yes, Harsha,
One or
please
two.
go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So during while writing test bench, like we specify some delay, right? So in the initial block. So does the position where we specify the delay matter? Like suppose if I write first hash 20 and then declare the input. So does that mean that the input will be available after 20 cycles? And if I write the input first and define hash 20, so would that mean that the input is available at time 0 and
Yes.
for 20 cycles it would be idle?
Yep. So as I said, there were two kind of delays: propagation delay and inertial delay. If I am writing the way I am writing in my EDA playground, so I am writing hash first. So that means it's a propagation delay. It's an inertial delay. While if I write hash before the input, so then it would be considered like a propagation delay because your input is taking that much time, your output is getting evaluated immediately.
Okay. Okay. Got it.